Hi folks, I'm Matt, and welcome to my top 200 board games of all time. Let's count through this beautiful collection together, shall we? This one's going to feature a lot of newer games added to my collection here. And the first one, at number 190, is Ave Caesar. Ave Caesar is a simple racing game. Everyone has the same deck of cards, but they're shuffled, so the order they come out are always different. And you're basically racing around two tracks. The board is double-sided there. Now, on one of those three rounds, as you're moving around the track, you have got to go down the, I think it's called the Emperor's Run or the Caesar's Run, and it's a little bit slower path because the square is a lot smaller, and you got to toss your coin onto the board. You got to pay homage to Caesar as you're racing through there. Now, if you wait too late and you try to do this at the end, you've lost. So you got to do it at the end of the first round or the second round. It's almost like having a pit stop in a NASCAR game. You got to have at least one stop. So it's going to slow you down. Also, how you play the cards are important because everyone has the same deck of cards, and you can run out eventually and be stuck with a bunch of low, moving cards. There are, ones and twos in the game, as well as there are sixes and higher. So the choice is, the strategy is, I should say, is when you're playing these cards, you want to play your slow ones when maybe you're ahead or it won't hurt you as much. Because if you can't pass anyone in this game. So if there's only one space and some of the areas are tight, they only have space for one or two. If they're both blocked, you gotta just hold up behind them. If I played a 4 and I can only go 2 spaces, I'm only going 2 spaces. I don't get to my other 2 spaces. I wasted a level 4 card. I should have played a 2 or a 1 even. And that's the game. It's just measuring out how to play those cards and when's a great time to break through, when's a great time to slow up. Sometimes I've been ahead and I've had a 6 in my hand and a 1. I'll play the 1 because I know they can't pass me, or if they will, they have to go the long way around. So again, lots of strategy involved here. Really fun game, very simple, but it's a very simple straight racing game as well, which is why it ranks at 190. Let's continue on with new board games. My number 189 is Rococo. And Rococo, you are basically collecting material, talking to the queen, getting new apprentices to do better jobs, to make better dresses, to sell them for money or rent them out to the big ball. You're also buying decor for the ball as well. Of course, whoever has the most victory points at the end wins. This is a great little Euro game that people just go bonkers over. And I'm here to tell you, it's a little overrated. It's not a bad game. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Heck, I never paid the price that they're asking for, though. I wouldn't even pay half the price for this game. People say, oh, it needs to be reprinted. And I thought, yeah, maybe so, because it looks really beautiful, and I remember playing it before, but thinking it was okay. I got in a huge trade. I traded away a bunch of games just for this game. I didn't mind, because I was, getting rid of some games from my shelf there. And when it came in, I was like, it's a good game. It's not great. In fact, the expansion is mainly useless. The times we've played with it, I think only one person has ever used the jewelry box. But, it's fine. Like I said, it looks beautiful. I like the theme, and it plays well, but man, people go nuts over this game. And for me, obviously, if it's the number 189, it didn't impress me that much. But don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's in my collection, and it's here to stay, Rococo. Number 188 is also a new game, and it is a queen game. It is called Maharani. Maharani, you're basically, it's a board that has 4 tiles on. You're drawing tiles from a bag. You're turning the board toward each character, and they can only play one specific tile in one of the 4 corners of the board. Now, the reason this little turnstile in the middle is really cool, because sometimes you want to grab that tile, but you don't want to use it for that corner. You want to use it for a different section. If so, you have to use on your little game board, there are these 4 coins. You flip them over, and when you're wanting to use a section that is not for the proper tile. I love that because in the game, you're going to have to forfeit your turn to flip over all your coins. I went, who is going to do that? We all did. We all did. Very quickly, it occurred to me what the strategy was on here. And you're trying to get points based on, basically, it's tile placement here. And you're getting more points the more people you have in different colors in a section. It scores once it's full. And there are rules on, how to place the tiles as well. This game, I would never, ever play without the Queenies. I think the Queenies just up this game so much for me. There's the wild card ones that are basically white and basically count for another color, so you can get those extra bonuses, because it's really hard to get all, I can't remember how many different colors are in the game, but it's really hard to get all 7, let's say, colors in one little section. That's almost impossible. But with the wild card, it makes it a little bit easier to get a little bit more bonuses in the game. Also, another thing, they have these halvesy tiles that can represent, orange and purple or yellow and green or whatnot. I love those too. I always play with those as well, because they can count for either or color, which kind of helps your choices in the game. Sometimes you can get stuck with only having to put one tile down, and you really don't want to do that. I mean, in that case, I guess you could skip your turn and flip back over your coins if you had any that you'd use, but at the same time, who wants to skip their turn as their turn comes around? No one. So Maharani is a fun game. The reason this isn't ranked higher is just because it hasn't gotten played that much after its review. Again, a lot of my board games, they got played a little bit, and then they didn't get played after that, and that kind of hurt them a little bit. So Maharani I need to add to my gameplay list again, because it looks beautiful, and I had a really great time with it, but the time has passed since then. I've added several other new games to my list. But hey, I'm not apologizing for this game. It's Queen Game. Fantastic game. Glad it's on my list. At number 187 is the game Milestones. Milestones, you are basically moving around your own personal rondel, creating actions to get different workers, to get different resources, and then on the bottom of your board, you're cashing in those resources for building supplies like walls or meals or a little castle post, and you're building out, according to these milestones here, different areas and walls, and basically a city, in fact. And you're getting points based on, what you cover up, or where you placement of some of these meals or milestones there. I really like the game. There's a lot of strategy here, plus I love a little rondel. Your own personal rondel is good. There is some what's it called? Not card management, tile management, because you're always the king at the end. You have to stop at the end of the rondel and pay the king's taxes. It basically just shoots you down to a few resources, and he takes one of your men who were providing you with more resources. So your men are always changing too, and the order that you place those men can also earn you bonuses too. Really strategic game. A lot there. This is another game I got to add to the list, though it did get played after my review. It got played a couple of times after the review. It is a fun game, and I want to play it more. I think Rhino from Rhino Runs Through was talked about this one being one of the most underrated games out there, and I have to agree with him. It is a really good game. Milestones. Continuing the trend of new board games to my collection is number 186. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I'm going to try. Alia Guests. I don't know. It's just a dice chucking game, and you're throwing these dice and you're placing them in different areas to get certain rewards. Of course, you're trying to turn those rewards into bonus points, and each building does something different. Now, the game is very straightforward, very simple to play, and a whole heck of a lot of fun. I played this at BGG SpringCon a few years back, liked the game, but said, I don't think I need a filler game right now. But then I found it for super cheap online. I couldn't pass it up, and so I got it. We played it again with my gaming group, and yes, it is a fun little game. It has even, there's a section on there that you could get bumped down into the latrine, where it actually shows some graphic art of some of the cartoon Romans pooping. It's really funny, and the latrine basically gives you these like reroll tokens. So even though you get nothing, at least you get a reroll token to use next time and hopefully get better. Again, though, I have to admit, a lot of strategy in this game. There's one building that you're just vying for to get some in-game points. It doesn't feel like much because you're not gaining anywhere else, but at the end, ooh, you can really clean up. If you went, I think it's the Senate is where you have to go. If you went to the Senate and got a lot of in-game scoring points, that can really help you there. It's not going to help you during the game, but at the end it might. I love that. Of course, the dice and the artwork, though, a little cartoony, I love it as well. Fun, very light game. I'm sure a million people are going to try to help pronounce it with me in the comments below, but that title there, really great game. Number 185 is, I say new game, this game came in. It's a new game in my collection. I got it in last year. It's called Rhino Hero. And Rhino Hero Super Battle. I'm putting these in the same category because personally I don't know which one I like better. Some days I like Rhino Hero Super Battle, And then a lot of times I just like the simplicity and ease of Rhino Hero. But I got these games last year, late last year. They didn't make it in time to make my list. And this year, that may be what hurt them, why they didn't make it so high on my list. But these games are also for kids too, I should say, where you're basically, it's a balancing act. You're placing cards, folding cards, and, just like you did maybe in high school. You get these folding cards and try to build a tower out of them. But you're also carrying around wooden piece in Rhino Hero, but wooden pieces in Rhino Hero Super Battle along up these towers, and you're trying to get the highest up there. And Rhino Hero, you're trying to get rid of all your cards. And Super Battle, you're trying to be the person who was on top of the building as everything went crumbling to the ground. Again, for me, there is no easy pick on which one I like better. My nephews would pick Super Battle because they really like Super Battle. But I think you can win on either one. Get them both. You get them both. I think they're so much fun. They do have a Rhino Hero active kids thing game. It doesn't look that fun. It doesn't fall within the theme of Rhino Hero, balancing cards, or cardboard as you're building things. It is a lot of fun though. This game is so much fun from Haba. If you have kids, pick it up. Even if you have, I would play this with adults. I haven't played it with my adult gaming group yet, and I should have, because I think they would absolutely love it. It is got some simplicity to it, but it's also got a little bit of strategy, and of course a balancing act of balancing all those cards up there. And again, why I think this got hurt in the rankings so much is because it kind of lost its newness. When I got all these new games, it had to sit on the shelf, and it's been sitting on the shelf since basically early this year. We played a lot into the year over the holidays and throughout the first of the year, but then as new games started coming in, it started gathering dust on my shelf, sadly. But Rhino Hero, excellent game, my number 185. At 184 is A Dog's Life. In A Dog's Life, you are an actual dog moving around town, digging through trash, fighting other dogs, avoiding that dog catcher, and basically trying to get 3 bones somehow, some way, by maybe delivering newspapers, or maybe digging in the trash, or begging at restaurants, which is what you got to do to get food. And you're burying those bones in your backyard. First one to do all 3, win. This game, the first edition, don't go for. There's one on Kickstarter that's it's a trap. It's a fake. It's a fraud. They're just taking your money there. But the old game is really cheap. They got these beautiful dog pieces, and it's such a fun game. You can actually pee in the streets, and that will stop other dogs' movement. So you're basically setting up traps. My little nephew loved this one because he peed almost all over town. They call it piddle. His piddle was everywhere, and he used all his piddle tokens to make sure he peed all over the town. He didn't even care what the object of the game was, because I said, dude, you need to get bones. He went, okay, I want to pee here, here, and here. Dude just loved it, the word piddle, that you could piddle in this game. He just loved that. So they absolutely love the game. This is a game that has struggled to be on my list because I bought it with the intention thinking my wife's really going to love it. And I'm looking here, last year it was 118. So it even dropped down to 66 because my wife is just not interested. She loves dogs but just doesn't get the game. I think she played it once with me. I was like, meh, it's okay. I was like, oh man, okay. But my nephews really have a lot of fun with it. Another game I don't bring out, I brought out with my wife's family and my nephews. I don't think I brought this out to my gaming group either. Maybe that's the reason it's ranked so low. But A Dog's Life is just a fun little game that's easy to play, but there's a strategy too, because everyone's moving the dog catcher. You want to move it away from you and on someone else, sending them to the pound. Lots of strategy here. Fun game. Get this one. It's super cheap. Number 183 is another new game to my list. It is called Bejeweled. I think it's the original version. Anyway, in Bejeweled, you're basically doing what you do in the app. You're switching out 2 gems and hopefully matching 3 in a row or more and getting coins for that, or points. In this case, you're getting coins. You get a coin that's similar to the color that you just switched out. So if I switched out and got 3 blue gems, I get a blue coin. Now you want 3 of 4 kinds of gem or 3 kinds of gem to win the game. But the thing I really enjoy, see, I like Bejeweled was a nice app game. I remember playing it back in the day. I don't play it anymore. But I said, did they make a board game about it? They did. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to get that. That looks really neat. It's a great game. This version is, because you got the actual real gems you're switching out. The reason I say it's a great game is because everyone's looking at the board from 4 different angles, and they can see things you can't. So you may say, well, I don't want to do that because that would set someone up for a big one there. So I'll do this. Man, you did a big mistake, because the next person is going to get a whopping, they found a way to swap out 2 and get 2 complete sets. But just because the way they were looking at the board, they looked at it from a different perspective, and they saw something you didn't. And when I figured that out, woo, this is a fun game. You can probably find this at, antique stores, flea markets for, I would imagine, relatively cheap. And if you do, might I suggest you picking up a copy, because I have had a blast with mine, and it's not getting old. So, Bejeweled, my number 183. My number 182 is the only Monopoly game I have in my collection. It is Mario Kart Monopoly, Monopoly Gamer Mario Kart. And basically, you're driving around the Monopoly board in a Mario Kart. Any of the base characters, Luigi, Toad, and Princess, are with Mario. But of course, you can buy expansions to them, little drivers, and they all have their own little special ability in the game. But you're throwing a dice that can let you shoot lightning, throw turtle shells. And in a way, it's odd. It does feel like you're playing Mario Kart. The game goes really fast. Fastest game of Monopoly you'll ever have. With 4 players, it can go 20 minutes, The game does speed up and really go, you really run. It doesn't overstay its welcome, let me just tell you that. Now, I always wanted Monopoly Gamer with the Mario pieces on it, the regular version. But when I found out they were doing Mario Kart, I held off, bought Mario Kart, and I'm happy. So if that's the only Monopoly game I ever have in my collection, I'll be very pleased. This game sunk down a little bit. Last year it was number 120, so it moves down 62 spots. But mainly that's just because I've added other new games to the list. Monopoly Gamer Mario Kart. If you're tired of Monopoly and you love Mario Kart, yeah, this is the game, I think. Even if you don't like Monopoly that much, I think there's enough of a Mario Kart theme in there for you to forgive and overlook the word Monopoly. Like, I'm not ashamed to show off my Monopoly Mario Kart game. I think it's awesome. And it does get played from time to time, and it is a ton of fun. Finally, at number 181 is the game Surf's Up. This is a very unique game where you are a meeple, a surfing meeple, and you're trying to ride waves into the shore. There are baby waves, middle waves, and the big mama waves, And so you're trying to position, actually you're jockeying for the prime position in that wave. That's going to give you the most points and trophies at the end. There are these wooden trophies, gold, silver, and bronze, and they do count for points in the game. Now, the other thing is, you may be challenged while riding that wave in. The wave are on these little not discs, but these cardboard pieces, slats that go on top of the board, where you just kind of push them closer to the shore. And so there's a lot of strategy on when you get in there. There's cards you play. There's a limited amount of cards there. And you are limited to, how many you can have on the wave first off, but also you need to have cards available if someone challenges you to a face-off or something happens on the wave that forces you to get rid of some cards. Lot of good strategy in the game. Lot of good strategy, because you got to also take some time out. Instead of catching a wave, move some of your swimmers back out to the ocean, which sometimes you're forgetting. Everyone will be on the shore. You're like, oh no, I got to spend my next 2 turns, getting the surfers back up to the position in the water. I love that. You can't drop the ball on anything here. Plus, the theme is so unique, and it looks wonderful too. Last year, this game was on my list at number 114, so it dropped 67 spots. Folks, this is one of the games I kind of pimped out a little bit. I bought some really shiny gold spray paint. I said last year I was going to do this, and I did. And I spray painted all those gold trophies really gold. It's hard to tell gold and bronze apart, especially for an old guy like me. So I gave all my gold trophies the literal golden treatment, and they are all shiny gold, which you can easily tell now. The one thing I don't like about the game, I've said this before, in a 4-player game, the deck of cards runs out every round. Every round you're having to reshuffle the discard pile. And people are getting rid of cards, then you're having to reshuffle everything and make another discard pile. And so the game should have come with a few more cards, or a lot more cards, so you wouldn't have to be shuffling so much. But other than that, Surf's Up, so much fun. All right, gang, that's it for now. Come back next time as I review my next top 10 within my top 100. See you later.